Hey, what's up, Lorain County Hoops fans? Welcome back to another episode of In the Paint, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. Before we get started this week, as always, make sure you like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. That's the best way to keep up with all of the latest video drops and content. So again, like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Turn on that little bell notification icon, and you'll be all set again for all the latest video drops and content. So we're actually going to start on the girls' side of things this week. I know, changing it up. We got to go over to North Ridgeville, where Grace Kingery has become the all-time leading scorer at North Ridgeville for the Lady Rangers basketball program. Congratulations to Grace Kingery. She's at 1,229 points. As a junior. That's right, folks. So she will be adding on to this the rest of her junior campaign and obviously well into her senior season. She passes up Izzy Geraci, somebody we've talked about earlier this year on the show, one of our College Corner features. I'm excited for this week's College Corner, but more on that here soon. But first and foremost, again, congrats to Grace Kingery, the all-time leading scorer at North Ridgeville. Girls coach Amy Esser raves all the time about all of her girls, but really especially about Grace and the work that she puts in throughout the offseason and into the season, of course, as well. So congratulations to Grace. Quite an accomplishment there. She had 28 points in a comeback win earlier this week over Medina. So congratulations to Grace on a very nice week for her. On the boys' side of things, Elyria. We got to start there. They are on fire right now, folks. Perhaps the hottest team in Lorain County. 9 straight wins for the Pioneers. They sit at 13-5 after a 60-54 win over Lakewood earlier this week. This one didn't start well for the Pioneers at all. They were down 21-3 at one point in time. Lakewood was actually up on them 27-15 at the half, but the Pioneers kicked it into gear after the halftime break, outscoring Lakewood 54-33 in those final 16 minutes. Jaden Crutcher led the way. He had 20 points. Ryan Walsh had 15. And Xavier Church, he got a lot of love from Coach Larrick after the game. He's missed some time this year because of injuries, but Xavier finished with 5 rebounds, and a huge second half blocked shot. I kind of got that hard hat award from Elyria for that win. Coach Larrick again some very kind words for Xavier after that one. So Elyria right now sitting 2 games back of Avon Lake in those SWC standings. And of course the Shoremen still the top dog in the SWC. They held on barely at Midview this past Friday night. It went to double overtime. It was a 67-64 final. The Shoremen escaping with a win. It was a much better effort from Midview, because the first time these two met up, it was a 30-point rout in favor of Avon Lake. So Midview gave them a much better contest this time around. Ryan Runzer actually had 31 points in the loss. That's the second time in the past week and a half or so that Ryan's got more than 30 points. So Runzer playing some really good basketball right now, forward coach Brabenick and the Middies. But still, Avon Lake, they were able to hang on for the win. Matt Stewie had 17. Peyton Lurch had 15. And they followed that up with a big win over Buckeye in non-conference action earlier this week. So that's 4 straight wins now for the Shoremen, playing some really good basketball at the right time of the year. Right behind them in the SWC standings, it's North Ridgeville and third year head coach Ben Chase, I should say. North Ridgeville just trying to keep pace. They knocked off Avon Friday night without Colin Jones, and I think that was a huge thing for North Ridgeville. Anytime you're missing a big 6'5" wing player like Colin Jones, who can play some really good offense and then lock you down on defense, that's tough to win a conference matchup without him. But they step up and find a way to get it done anyway. Griffin Toure had 21. Jake Boynar had 18. Jake Boynar also getting his 1,000th point as a Ranger, so a lot of Ranger Hoopers making history right now. Jake joining that 1,000-point club. And Jaden Parrish, who had the spot start in place of Colin Jones, he had 15 points, trying to prove that he's much more than just a perimeter 3-point shooter. So North Ridgeville really got a nice team effort on Friday. They followed that up in non-conference action as well on Tuesday with a win over Valley Forge. So now that's 6 wins in a row for North Ridgeville, sitting just 1 game back of Avon Lake. And a big shout out to Amherst as well in the SWC, kind of out of the title contention there, but they got a win in the Larry Shaw Classic this weekend over Keystone. 55-51 was the final. You heard that one on WEOL, of course, that being played in honor of the late, great Larry Shaw. But Amherst, they were missing 2 starters. Ryan Yoder coming off the bench, scoring a career-high 18 for head coach Pat Bray. So a very nice effort for Amherst in that win over Keystone, again, in the Larry Shaw Classic. In the Lorain County League, Clearview maybe had win of the week past Friday night. They knocked off Brookside, the top dog in the Lorain County League, 71-69. Xavier Castillo had 24. Jai Walton had 14 points. So now Oberlin, Keystone, and Columbia all chasing Brookside. Maybe had some thank you texts going out to Clearview on that Friday night. Watch out for Columbia right now, though. Winners of 3 straight, just 1 one game out of first, which sets up a huge Friday night, basically, this week in the Lorain County League. Keystone is at Oberlin, and then Columbia is at Brookside. So tons of Lorain County League title implications will be happening this Friday night in Lorain County. Should be a ton of fun, no doubt about that. Back to the girls' side here quickly. Shout out to the Elyria Lady Pioneers, a one-win team, maybe had upset of the year so far here in Lorain County. They knocked off a one-loss Keystone team, 41-32. Now, I know Keystone is without Elena Houston right now. She recovers from an injury, but Hannah Miller had 20 points for the Lady Pioneers in that win. Chloe Troutman had 11. That was a huge W for Coach Tony Brown and his Lady Pioneers, so congratulations to them on that win. Bella Simmons playing some really good ball right now for first-year head coach Onyx Lopez and her team. She had 14 points in a last week win over Wellington. She was actually named the Chronicle Telegram's Player of the Week last week, averaging 11 points, 4.5 steals, and over 3 assists per game. So Bella playing some really good ball right now. Again, Firelands, Keystone, Columbia, kind of a three-headed race right now for the LCL title for the girls. Olmsted Falls on the SWC side of things in the girls' side. They went ahead and clinched the SWC. Midview was giving chase, but they fell on Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago, to Olmsted Falls. But they bounced back with big wins over Amherst and Avon Lake. So Midview, no SWC crown for them this year, but still playing some really good basketball. And it's tournament time for the girls just about. We got the sectional matchups and the district sites announced on that the OHSAA website. So we'll have more on WEOL with our future coverage. And of course, stay locked in with the Chronicle Telegram there as well. So that brings us to this week's College Corner, where if you're not familiar, again, we like to look back at a former Lorain County athlete and see what they're doing at the collegiate level right now. A shorter trip for us this week as we go to Baldwin-Wallace, where the 14th ranked Lady Yellow Jackets are getting a fantastic year from former Elyria Catholic star Reagan Schill. Now, she's a senior and has started every single game this year for Baldwin-Wallace, which I think is certainly worth something in today's day and age, especially in the NBA with load management and people not playing every game. Reagan's played every single game and started every game for Baldwin-Wallace, so that's a huge thing. Shooting it at a 42% clip from the outside this year in conference action, so she doesn't like to score a whole lot, right? Just averaging 3.5 points per game. But when she does, she's taking really nice, smart, efficient shots. Again, playing some really good basketball. A great defensive player for Baldwin-Wallace. And she did have 9 points in a rivalry win against John Carroll this year. So again, our College Corner focus this week. Big shout out to Reagan Schill at Baldwin-Wallace, the former Elyria Catholic standout. So what's coming up this week in terms of the Lorain County High School basketball scene? What can you hear on WEOL and what can you read up on in the Chronicle Telegram? Well, again, Friday night is huge. We talked about those Lorain County League matchups, but on WEOL, we've got a good Lake Erie League battle as Cleveland Heights will be at Lorain. That should be a ton of fun. Again, on WEOL, 7 o'clock at Lorain. We'll see if Coach Matt Keelian and friends can get a win against Cleveland Heights. And again, we told you Keystone, Oberlin, Columbia, Brookside, the games to watch in the Lorain County League. In the SWC, some good ones as well. North Ridgeville welcomes in Elyria as those two try to keep pace with Avon Lake for that SWC crown. And the Shoremen are home to Amherst. So I'm sure there'll be some Comets fans across the SWC this Friday night. On Saturday, on the girls' side of things, a big one on WEOL. Keystone is at Columbia. Again, Lorain County League implications in that one. And a non-conference boys game on WEOL later that night. We'll have Brunswick at Avon. That'll be a 6 o'clock tip-off there. So that should be a good non-conference battle as well. And then the boys' tournament draw will be this Sunday. Should have some more information on that next week for you as well. So that'll pretty much do it for this week. Again, a lot to look forward to right now with those Lorain County League and SWC conference races really coming down to these final couple of weeks. It should be a ton of fun to keep track with everything. So for Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I'm your host, Rocco Ducey, saying thank you for tuning in to another episode of In the Paint, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. We'll see you guys next time.